Hi, I'm Danielle, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about whatever it is I feel like. Ignore the fact that I have no lashes. It's so weird for me, but I feel like I'm getting a sty on this eye, so we're still not wearing eye makeup, which is annoying. But without further ado, today what we're talking about is the rest of my favorites. So in the previous video that I did, I talked about my beauty favorites, so that was makeup and perfume, stuff like that. And today we have the rest of my favorites. So this is just stuff that I've been enjoying for the first half of this year, basically. Number one is going to be this wine. I got Black Girl wine. I think that's the name of the brand. I'm going to put it up here. That's why I'm off to the side, so I can put stuff up here. But Black Girl wine, their Moscato. It's so good. Just a little chilled. It's kind of sweet, but not too sweet. I do like a sweet wine, but I feel as though I shouldn't have a sickly sweet wine. But this is going to be my drink of the summer. I know that for sure. Let's get into this. I have a couple of categories to get through. I've got some movies, some TV shows, some music, some miscellaneous. So let's get into this. So we're going to start off with movies because I think I've said this multiple times. Going to the movies is one of my favorite things ever. I do it constantly. And I have 4 movies that I saw this year that I just absolutely loved. So the first one is God Is. This movie was so good. And at the end of it, I was like, you know what Hollywood needs to do? They need to give a Black creative just free reign to do something with twins every single year. So the premise of Is God Is it's these 2 twin sisters whose father tried to kill them in a fire along with their mother, and in going to see their mother after years and years later, because their mother had like given them up or they went into foster care or something like that. So, and their mom says she wants to meet them because she's dying and she wants the girls to make their dad dead. It's a story of revenge. It is so interesting seeing these 2 women, how they love each other because they're twins. So you see a little bit of that twin telepathy thing kind of happening. I love the choice of them calling their mother God because she gave us life, didn't she? Like, that was such a beautiful touch. Like, that was amazing. And just kind of their thoughts on taking this not responsibility, but this task that their mother gave them, this mother who they don't know, essentially. She's not been in their lives for much of it. And taking on this task, and also their father, who they view as a monster because he is the one who kind of slightly disfigured them. One of them has severe burns on her face and the other has severe burns on their arm. So just kind of, how this plan of revenge kind of puts out the father that they have in them, like the bits of their father that they see in themselves. And it was just really well done, really good. I loved the ending. I'm trying my best not to give any spoilers, but it was a really, really good movie, and I absolutely loved it. If you love, it's kind of like a Southern Gothic horror thriller type of situation. There's a lot of violence, a lot of blood, things that I personally enjoy. And it was just really well done. It was a very fun time. We've got a great cast. Sterling K. Brown is in it, Janelle Monáe, Vivica A. Fox, Erica Alexander. Like, it's a pretty stacked cast, and they all do such a good job. Like, if you have not seen It Is God Is, I highly, highly recommend seeing it. The next movie that I saw was Send Help. So, Rachel McAdams, Dylan O'Brien, Sam Raimi as the director. Need I say more? Probably. That doesn't tell you the plot. So basically, this movie is about Dylan O'Brien. His character becomes the CEO of this company, and Rachel McAdams' character, Linda Little, if I'm not mistaken, her name is, she has been kind of like pushed to the side and kind of overlooked and not seen. And she was promised this big promotion when the new CEO comes in, and then he snubs her. But they still kind of take advantage of her and the fact that she really loves this company and wants to do a good job and do good work. So in taking advantage of her, they all kind of like get ready to pitch this big thing. They do a big pitch and they take her with them, and the plane crashes, and Dylan O'Brien and Rachel McAdams are the only survivors on this deserted island, and they have to rely on each other. And it quickly becomes apparent that Rachel McAdams' character is a survival nut and is going to be fine, just fine, whether or not Dylan O'Brien's character helps her. And it kind of is this push and pull where he's trying to follow office politics still, where it's like, I'm still your boss, but it's like, we're on a deserted island. No one is here. Like, I don't know why you're trying to hold on so tightly to being my boss. Like, we're on an island. No one is here. That type of thing. And kind of relying on each other to survive, but also maybe trying to kill each other. Who's to say? It was so fun. So much fun. Again, I'm a sucker for violence. And it's also another one of those good for her kind of movies. I won't say much more than that, even though that kind of gives it away, but still, I think even knowing that, you're going to appreciate the journey of that movie. Great time. The next movie, I'm sure everyone and their mom has talked about this, but Obsession. I loved it so much. The premise of someone getting a wish, it's kind of like a be careful what you wish for kind of thing, but it's also, when you think about it, you're not supposed to wish for someone to love you. Basically in all kinds of genie narratives, like I'm pretty sure they say it in Aladdin, Fairly Odd Parents, you can't wish for someone to love you. And in this one, it's kind of, you figure out why, basically. So it stars this young man, named Bear, who makes a wish on a one wish willow for Nikki, this young woman who he's friends with and is in their friend group. He wishes for her to love him more than anyone has ever loved anyone. And switch kind of clicks in her mind, and she becomes essentially obsessed with him. And you kind of see the dark side of having someone love you that much. But there's also this other layer because she doesn't want to love him that much. And you see the push and pull in her of the two halves of herself as she tries to kind of take back control of her body, essentially. Like, the horror movie is for her. Like, she's in a horror movie because she has to love this man. And it's just really good. It's really good. It's amazing what they did on such a small budget. I loved the premise. It was so fascinating seeing him try to like undo certain things, but still almost like keep the girl in a way. But I feel as though he has to realize you can't keep the girl if you've done this already. But I'm sure you've seen a lot of memes and like other bits of it. But if you have not seen Obsession, I highly, highly recommend it. Last movie was Merrily We Roll Along. This, in addition to loving blood and gore, I'm a theater girl. So when Merrily We Roll Along was set to have a pro shot, I really wanted to see it in theaters. But I dropped the ball, so I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters. And I basically looked at every website. I was like, I will buy this movie. Someone just put it somewhere so I can buy it. But they eventually released it on Netflix. So I got to watch it. It has Jonathan Groff, Daniel Radcliffe, both Tony Award winners at this point, and it tells the story of three friends who, one is two of them are like playwright friends, and the other is the woman, I can't think of her name right now. I'm going to put it up on here. Her? But it just tells the story of their friendship in reverse. I love things that kind of play around with time in a way. Not time travel, but in terms of like telling a story, I do love when you kind of play around with the order of what you tell a story, and this does that really well. It was very fun. I loved the music in it. I love the acting in it. I just love a musical. I'm a huge fan of a musical, and this was a good one. Merrily We Roll Along, loved it. I love pro shots. I wish there were more pro shots. I'm excited for Hadestown to come out. I mentioned that in another video, but more Broadway pro shots, please and thank you. Next up on my list, we're going to talk about TV shows. So I feel like I haven't watched a lot of TV this year, at least not a lot of new TV. And I feel like I normally have a lot of shows going on, but I guess I didn't this year. They were all only shows that I've already seen or like new seasons of shows. So this is 2.5 shows, and you'll see why in a second. But the first show was The Pitt. I started watching The Pitt in late December, like early January, like maybe with the new year, I started watching The Pitt. And I tried to watch it during the first season, but I couldn't get into it. But then something clicked in my brain and I ended up loving it. So The Pit, basically, again, when I talk about loving interesting things with time, this is another one. I love that the premise is an entire shift at a hospital, and each episode is an hour of that shift. So I love the real time aspect of it. It feels like there's a lot of pressure going on. It feels like an automatic bottle episode, like every single time, you know? And I think that's what makes it so fascinating. The acting is really good. The drama is really good. I I love reading fan theories and stuff like that of people watching the show. The characters are all very interesting to look at. The first season was definitely kind of like firecrackery more than the second season. Because the first season had a, spoiler alert, mass shooting event, whereas the second season didn't really have that. But I also think that it was good that they're not doing a big buzzy awful event every single season, if that makes sense. And you do kind of just see a normal shift, and because it's in healthcare, it's still very high pressure and high stakes. So I really loved The Pit, and I'm so excited for it to come back. And I also love that it seems like we're not having to wait 2 years for new seasons. Looking at you, Bridgerton. I did love season 4 of Bridgerton, FYI. I watched it all in one day. But still, I love that we're not waiting 2 years per season. The next show, The Fall and Rise of Reggie Dinkins. So before I put this on my list, I had to double check that it got picked up for a second season, and it did. So Daniel Radcliffe, Tracy Morgan, Erica Alexander. It tells the story. It is so freaking good. It's on NBC. It's a comedy, a quick little 30-minute comedy. Meg the Stallion was on a couple of episodes. The show is amazing. But it tells the story of Tracy Morgan, who's Reggie Dinkins, and he basically is a disgraced ex-football player who's trying to make a comeback and get into the Football Hall of Fame, and trying to kind of like clear his name because he left football on not the best terms. And Daniel Radcliffe's character, I want to say his name is Arthur. He is a filmmaker, a director, who also kind of had his own little disgraced moment where he kind of crashed out on the set of a Marvel movie he was supposed to be directing, and them kind of like coming together, Arthur with his filmmaking and Reggie with his life, to kind of like make a docu-series on Reggie Dinkins. And just the comedy is so funny. It's, I want to say Tina Fey, or like, yeah, I want to say Tina Fey helped produce this or had a hand in creating it, because you can kind of see that 30 Rock kind of quick humor where there's just so many jokes, and if you watch it again a second time, you're going to get another joke. But I was so relieved that this got picked up for the second season, because the first season was relatively short, and I was like, I can't, it's hard to love TV because too many times something doesn't explode and become fabulous in the first 10 seconds. So then they're like, oh, well, who cares? I'm glad that they're bringing it back for another season. That was worrying me. The last TV show, this is the half TV show. And basically, Shauna the mom, the YouTuber slash TikToker who does videos about like motherhood and family and parenting. I've been watching this series for like a couple years at this point, but this character arc that we're on with Barb and Jen and her wedding, and the kind of John and the no contact situation, and the miscarriage that Shauna experienced. This entire story arc that we've been getting lately has been so good. I run to YouTube every single time she posts a TikTok in the hopes that she has a full-length video out. The wedding video that came out on the 20th of June. See, I remember the date so well because I was waiting for the video to drop, but that made me cry. Like, there's been so many good moments. The Ty and Julie saga, like, I feel like she's expanded so much, but it still feels so like crackly, buzzy, fresh. I don't know how to describe it. And you quickly forget that she's playing all the characters. You really do. Because anytime she reveals a new person, it's like, oh yes, Dr. Baby Doctor. And it's like, I know this is Shauna in a different wig, but still it feels like a wholly different realized character, and it's fabulous. So if you're not watching Shauna the Mom, I don't know what you're doing, but she does. It's so good. It's so good. And like I said, I've been watching it for years, but this this year she's had some really good episodes, and I've been rewatching a lot. Maybe that's why I haven't watched new TV. I'm busy watching Shauna the Mom and Reggie Dinkins. Next up, we have music. So, fun fact about me, I don't listen to music very often. When out and about in my everyday life or things in headphones and stuff like that, if I'm driving in the car, I listen to podcasts more than anything. But I have, I guess, two big music things that I've listened to so much this year. One is Adele. Am I a new Adele fan? Absolutely not. I've been here since freaking 19. Chasing Pavements, Hometown Glory, like, I'm obsessed with Adele. But there's something about her album 30 that has just like, I listen to it nonstop. I love it. So I've listened to this in this entire year. Like, I make playlists every single month of songs that I kind of like had on repeat and was really obsessed with. And and again, because I don't listen to music that much, these playlists are like 3, 4 songs long, but they're all in one place so I can, get to them easily. But I've been listening to a lot of Adele. Hold On. Oh my God. Oh my God. To Be Loved is still my favorite Adele song of all time. But I Drink Wine, that came in like a bandit. That came in like a bandit in like April or May or something like that, where when I looked at my history of like streaming, I just listened to that song so freaking long. I know it's a pipe dream, but I want her to come out with more music. Pretty please and thank you, Adele. The second music thing that I really love is my cousin, actually. My cousin is Lauren Henderson, and she is a fabulous jazz singer. She sings jazz and like Spanish jazz as well. And I know I said I don't listen to music a lot. I stand by that. But something that I started doing and implementing into my Amazon device routine is when I wake up in the morning, my alarm goes off. I, of course, take it off, and it tells me what's on my schedule for the day. It tells me the weather, and then I have it play my cousin's music, and it's so nice. It's so good. Like, of course, she's my cousin, so I think she's the most talented person in the world. Like, that's no mistake about it. I even used her song in like one of my first videos that I posted. Probably got copyright strike, but whatever. But yeah, just listening to her like soothing voice and like jazz music while I'm getting ready in the morning. Chef's kiss, so good. And I'm listening to that while I'm like scrolling and like, doing a little skincare, doing my makeup. I'll have that list on in the background, but I'm also watching a show. It's very odd how my attention works, but I still love it. Of the songs that she sings, she did a cover of Landslide recently, and talk about listening to a song forever. I think it was either March or April where I listened to that song on repeat for like days on end. I loved that. And then also more recently, I've been loving The Sweetest Sound. But all of her music is so good. Like I listen to it for hours in the morning while I'm getting ready and just like pitter pattering around where I'm not quite ready to start like thinking with my brain and watching a show or something, but I need something to listen to. And it just feels so romantic, you know? You have your nice like big jug of water, you're putting an eye mask on while you like fluff up your brows, get some eye. Ugh. The perfect morning. The perfect morning. I love it so much. So listen to my cousin. She's amazing. Next up, podcasts. So this one's interesting because I didn't put the podcasts that I always listen to because they've been my favorites for years at this point. So those are Red Handed and The Read. Those are two podcasts that I listen to more than anything. I love them so much. But I do have a couple new ones that I've liked more this year. And the first one is Crystal's Couch. So Crystal from The Read, she has her own podcast now, and it's basically she gives advice. So if you like The Read as much as I love The Read, if you like The Read, especially the advice column that they do, Crystal's Couch is for you because she's just doing advice the entire time. And she has her fun friends and guests on there, and it's It's really great. I love it. The next podcast that I liked, it's funny how these are both kind of offshoots. So the next podcast that I really love is an old-timey podcast. So years ago, there was a podcast that I loved, and I still do love and listen to old episodes, but it was called Let's Go to Court, and it was two friends who, presented true crime, basically. It was a lot more jokey than a lot of true crime podcasts are, but I still found them very respectful of, the stories that they were telling, but you could tell they were friends, and I loved it. So they stopped doing that podcast, but one of the hosts started a new podcast with her husband, and I didn't listen to it for years. But then one day I was like, I miss listening to her voice, so let me try her new podcast. And oh my God, I love it so much. The first episode, she did like a 7-parter on Lucille Ball, and it was so good. Just learning so much about Lucille Ball's life and the how they got into I Love Lucy and like how they pitched it. And granted, the I Love Lucy stuff didn't come until I want to say episode 4. Episode 4. It took a while for her to find her niche and find her look and her just the right people to back her on projects, and the story's so inspiring. It also made me watch I Love Lucy for like a month, but I love the Old Timey podcast. It's such a really good one because they really dive deep into these topics. So I was listening to their like 7-part series on the death of Adolf Hitler, and now I'm listening to the episode on the creation of Mount Rushmore. It's very fascinating if you like history. It's very fascinating because they really, really dive deep into everything, but they make it fun and accessible, and you're learning, but you don't feel like you're learning. It's just really good time all around. Highly, highly recommend an Old Timey podcast. I love it. Now we're going to get into more miscellaneous ones. So my first one that I wrote is Katya, my sourdough starter. I kind of started up with sourdough a little late in the game. I feel like a lot of people did it. Peak pandemic and COVID, they were really making sourdough, but I was making croissants during that time. So I was still doing carbs. I just did a different carb. Arguably a harder carb, if I say so myself. Now she's thriving, and I've been making sourdough. Not so much right now because it's really hot, and having the oven at 400 degrees or 450 seems like an actual nightmare right now. But yes, and I've been making sourdough, and I've started adding mix-ins. I made one that was kind of like a cheddar bay biscuit. Sourdough, man. And Katya, I finally gave her a name. I thought it was funny that I didn't decide to give her a name until I realized she was useful. Because what if our parents did that? They didn't give, you just were kind of like, hey girl, hey boy, you had no name until you're useful. That'd be funny if we did that. These last 3 are all food. So, number 1 is Percy Pigs. That candy, that British candy. I remember seeing them on like a, Snack Wars or something like that. And I tried them and I was like, oh, this is amazing. They're amazing. They're vegan, which wasn't the selling point for me. I thought they were cute, and I saw that Chloe Bailey really liked them. She was like delighted by them in her video with Snack Wars. But what also got me is the flavor was so good. It felt like more fruit juice than a lot of American sour candies that I enjoy. I've had all the iterations, but the first one I had was sour. So the sour felt more like citrusy and fresh, and it wasn't like a painful sour. It was a very nice sour. And also the chew of them, the texture was very, very good. Because sometimes you get a candy and it's too like chewy and you feel like it sticks in your teeth and you don't like it, or it can be too hard and not chewy enough, and but the chew on these candies, and I like them all. I like the original, I like the sour ones, I like the reversey Percy, which I guess are a little bit more of the kind of like clear jelly than the cloudy jelly. I don't know how to describe what a reversey Percy is. Percy Pigs, all their iterations, quite delicious. Next up, Twizzlers Cherry Pull-Aparts. Enough said. Twizzlers are my favorite candy in the entire world. Although Percy Pigs were kind of giving a run for their money. But I enjoy the original strawberry twists, but for some reason I really was craving the cherry ones, and I just went through a phase where I just really loved the cherry Twizzlers for a bit. I still really love them, and I've kind of been picking them more than strawberry lately. Don't know what that is, but strawberry Twizzlers, so good. this last one. I bought the cookbook Obsessed with the Best by Ella Quittner, and I bought it because she did a video with another chef creator that I follow about her chocolate chip cookies. And I was like, I love a cookbook. I love a chocolate chip cookie, and she does a brown butter chocolate chip cookie. This is the Overachiever Extra Brown Butter Bakery Worthy chocolate chip cookies. These are maybe the best brown butter chocolate chip cookies I've ever had in my life. I'm obsessed with them. What makes them so good and so, like, one, she browned the butter. Two, she uses milk powder in there to kind of give you more of those toasty bits. Adding more milk powder to that makes it extra toasty. And then the other thing that she did was the chocolate. She also used crunch bars, so parts of it you get that like crispy puffed rice in there. It is, again, the best brown butter chocolate chip cookie I've ever made in my life. It is so freaking good. If you want a really good cookie, Ella Quittner, Obsessed with the Best, which is amazing. It's amazing. I hope you enjoyed my little listicle of the other things that I've been really enjoying for the beginning half of this year. And yeah, I've never said this on this channel, on this video before, yes, but like and subscribe if you want to see more. And I will see you next time with something else I feel like talking about. Bye.